Oh hi lads, and welcome back to the Educational Lands channel about the typical Roblox JoJo food chain, focusing on exploring the Roblox's Unbreakable Lands food chain. But first, before that, we shall look at the bottom of the food chain, starting off with the very average Joe. Now, the average Joe is what I call them personally, are the average player in each Roblox JoJo game that we encounter. We see the average Joe, struggling in the slums of RIU's Part 5 of Golden Winds, Italy. Surely it's a rough time for the average Joe, but he's struggling for the scrap as the devious little enemies come in to attack the poor little Joe. But it seems that this one's determined for the scraps that he'll manage, and I'm talking about his usual encounter with interdimensional groups. Even though he is level 100, he might be the young blood of the new players. Not serious with taking care of himself. Sure, he might take some huge damage taking care of him, but in the end, he'll prevail or die horribly. Think of it as a 20-sided dice, which is a lot worse, but we can gloss over the details in a much more serious time. I'm on a tight schedule here, after all. Now, these Joes are 50-50, either on skill, experience, how they play. It's a coin flip on what type they really are. But for your information and a constant reminder, they are Joes, but these Joes evolve into their own unique paths. Sometimes that path can also end up in the same place that everyone else end up in the same path that everyone is in. Sometimes it changes into an already known types of Joes, and there are many types of variants, and we already know the common ones. We have also known the many types of them. The average Joe will turn into a different player, depends on what their habitat and what they're starting off with. The most easy to understand is traders. Now what do the traders do? Well, in my experience, I ignore them as much as I can. You are in the presence of a trader at work, and there are only 3 types of traders. Usually the item traders and stand skin traders and of course, the lateral scammers. You'll mostly encounter the presence of a trader wanting to trade their high tier skins with yours. And I also made a troll video about my Garfield skin for their reaction. They seem to be very knowledgeable with their skins. They will also spread a message in chat and begin to offer their stand or your stand for something in return from them. But you also have to watch out for the scammers, as they would be pushing the bar of how much they're going to offer. But since I avoid scammers by giving them an ad-lib trivia, that was a joke by the way, I have no experience in how these scammers do on their natural habitat. Well, that concludes your very average trader in the streets of Italy. Next, we're finding the easy one, the toxic player. The toxic players hide amongst all the standard group of average Joes and usually gets provoked by a simple 1v1 fight or holding another secret grudge. I'm sorry, but this is the best I can come up, as I've always avoided these archers, or toxic people, due to their random outbursts of sudden evil striking. It always comes down after you distance yourself far away, as the render distance can allow. An archer would easily target, as they would come up around for one fight and then leave you alone. Oh, and just remember, the reason why they archer is either in the choices they made or something troubling happening in the past week that made themselves grow like this. You can also avoid turning yourself into an archer. Up and coming is the archers. The archers are known as random killers, but the term is used by the Roblox JoJo communities nowadays is archer, just like the infamous Gary's Mod term, RDM, which is random deathmatch, as all they want to do is nothing but cause trouble to you or someone else in the server. But as many as they are, they'll remain docile and somewhat provoked by their sheer lack of bloodlust or i.e. mood. They will go to a server and just arcade the nearest individual they see, either by Roblox avatar, the way they speak in chat, or by sheer randomness, or maybe on how low level they are. Now, to deal with archers is simple. You can call out in chat and say, "Archer, archer, archer, help," or you fight back and die horribly. Now I'll tell you how to deal with them. Usually, in an archer situation, you'd want to stay calm and plan out your course of attacks, and pay attention on how the archer plays the game. If the archer spams moves, then they're bad at the game. If the archer has good coordination but terrible timing, then you must be careful and be cautious. But if the archer is god tier at the game but blames their lag, just ignore them and ready to kick their ass again. And lastly, if the archer is parrying you or attacking you really well, just say GG in chat and don't cause any more ego stroking to the archer that's pursuing you or you pursuing them.
But what if I lose?
Well, you see, you have the chance to kick their ass again, switch stands, because if they can have a certain time limit and wait for your return, or if you just wait it out, it means you can spy on them and wait for the good time to strike. If they're like complaining about double teaming, that means they aren't that good. Just remember to say GG and let bygones be bygones. You're playing a video game after all. A Roblox game, by the way. No need to get angry with a bunch of squares and rectangles and cylinder heads. Now that we're finished with the average Joe variations, up and next is the gangs. Gangs are usually everywhere in terms of people who team against a runner or someone of a rival gang. I may not witness them as much, but I would assume gang wars would never happen in public servers, and usually happens in private servers. Now what would happen if they were in public servers, then I might as well talk to you about them anyways. Usually gangs is like your very average Joe with any random skin, just with a more stylistic avatar, or it could be a baker or something, I don't know. Gangs are basically go to the sauce, and I'll focus on 4 of them in just a very short time frame. Firstly, gangs usually start off with their troublemaker. Usually they don't start fighting with the rivals, but with other groups of random people that are with or without the gangs / or squads. They would call gang members to help the troublemaker because he's getting ganged up by a bunch of randoms. Next, we have the gang members. They typically roam around Part 5, Italy, but usually just vibe or farm chests in a private server. And the gang leader. The gang leader is usually the one calling the shots, which is just they're the leader, of course. But if he's in danger, or usually doing an SBR run, he might get some backup and wipe the server clean. And the gang allies. Same thing with everything, but like I said before, except their friends. But for the real though, I'm just adding extra seconds to this. Now we start off with the tournament people. They usually go to public servers and flex their skins for the server to witness, or just don't, as they would store it in their storage to never let anyone see the light of day again. Basically, due to the professional level of PvP combat, aka using everything that's confirmed combos typically to wipe off anyone with their 0 to 200 HP combo, yeah, it's best to be in good terms with them. Or fight them. I don't know, it's your choice, not mine. I'm just following this shitty script. And last but not least is the mods and admins. They wear a unique outfit, and that is only limited to them and the buff that the set has, which gives them more health, more damage reduction, more speed, dash distance, regen, and more damage increase. The good stuff is that it makes them tanky. Oh, and the difference is that the mods would have the high frequency blade, which is only available to them, and the admins with the Murasama, that's only available to them. And yes, those are from the hit meme game Mental Games with Redundancy Retcon, or Metal Gear Rising for Vengeance. And if you can't fight them one if you're on alone, but with a well-coordinated team, where no one really has, if I'm going to be honest, it's about equal footing as it gets. Just hope that they don't spam counter. And that's all today for today's hour from the Educational Lands channel with your host, me, Mark. And looking across the landscape known as Part 5 Golden Wind, Italy. And I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned next time for another from the Educational Lands channel. Bye. We can cut the recording.